Hey, this is Scourrge. Gonna be firing up a quick zone video. Um, so I know there have been a lot of rumors flying around. Oh, Scourge is moving up. He's moving up. What's he moving up to? Well, the answer to that is I'm firmly planted at 25 NL, and I'm currently mixing in 50 NL when I can. 50 NL zone doesn't always run, but when it does, I'm there pretty much all the time. So I'll be doing a two-tabling video here. I find one table to be good for purposes of getting some solid hand reading in, but a little bit slow for video making, so hopefully this pace will be just a little bit better. Pretty much just started up this session. I sat out to actually get the video going, but I had actually a pretty interesting hand on this left table, and so I'm up a little bit. Ace Jack suited in the small blind, the button opens, or big blind, excuse me, button opens to 3x. Here I'm actually just going to fold this guy short. I can maybe 3-bet it, but I'm not loving it when he's short. So I had Ace Jack in the big blind, the button opened to 3x. I decided to flat. I would sometimes 3-bet, but I didn't that time. And the flop came King Jack 8 to two-tone. I check called a 2/3 pot size bet. The turn was an offsuit 8, and I check called roughly 60% pot size bet. And then the river came an offsuit low card, like a 5 or something like that. It was a blank, and he bet again pretty big this time, and I just felt like, first of all, his sizing wasn't really consistent with what I would expect his range to look like at that point. At that point, I look like I could have plenty of missed draws, some weak pairs, so he's going to want to be betting pretty small if he does have a king. And mind you, that's if he can even value bet a king there. I think that the 8 is kind of a scare card for a weaker king. I think the only king he's realistically betting 3 streets for value there with is like ace king, maybe king queen. And so there are also missed hearts, so I think he's probably trying to barrel me off draws a good portion of the time. So I called with my second pair, nut kicker, and he showed a7 offsuit. So we want a pretty nice hand to start things off. Anyway, so you'll notice that I'm playing a 25 NL zone table and a 50 NL zone table. Gonna ISO here, maybe, and standard raise here. They only run one table of zone per type, so pretty good board to c-bet. I imagine we'll have to double barrel a decent portion of the time though, get him to fold pocket pairs, but he might just fold a lot of his junk here. So there's only one table of 25 NL, 6 max, one table of 25 NL, full ring, etc., for each limit. So even though the volume is way better than doing regular tables, it's still roughly 200 hands an hour, which is okay, but not really the perfect number for me personally. So I usually mix limits, and it also helps just kind of in terms of, I'm very cemented at, this guy's deep, I can probably 3-bet this fine. Not that big though. In position, no need to go too big. He is under the gun, but I think that actually makes my raise look stronger, so I've been experimenting a little bit with 3-betting against under the gun openers. No need to see bet huge here. He's gonna fold a ton. See, he didn't even care what I bet there. He was folding. Wow. I don't really love getting tens in against a guy who's got 40 big blinds to start, but I don't think I can fold either. If I'm gonna bring him in a lot too, which is okay, because if he does come in, we kind of have, we're gonna have more implied odds on our sets, and we still have a very playable hand. They both check. I don't take his check to mean much. He can have any king pretty much. He can have Jack X. His check looks very weak to me. It's like queens at the best, some Jack X, and a lot of like ace high type hands. Pocket pairs below a Jack as well. And that's a pretty sweet card. We have the second nuts. I don't think we're really getting called by a whole lot though. Bear probably has to pay us like a 2/3 size bet here. But we don't mind just taking the pot there either. That was a pretty ugly board to start. Shorties in the blinds, but I actually found that short stacks don't play back that much, so I don't mind opening. Still pretty wide on the button. We flop extremely well, top pair and an open ender. There's a lot we get value from. We get value from worse pairs plus open enders. We actually probably get value from like King Jack here pretty easily as well. So just gonna make a standard 2/3 bet. It's a little bit weird because he's short, but he has enough that we're not really in danger of getting it all in unless he check raises. There's so much he can have here that's worse. I'm not sure about betting versus raising, or excuse me, calling versus raising. I kind of like calling and then jamming good turn cards because I think he can make a lot of mistakes. That's not a very good card for us because he has some ace high flush draws in his range. He checks, which, gosh, I kind of want to charge his draws, but I'm a little bit worried he has like a king queen type hand here sometimes. I'm gonna bet kind of small. Correct odds and drawing. He min raises again. What are we getting? 450 plus 8 is 1250, and we're getting like a little better than 2-1 here. I think I can jam. I mean, he's gonna have a good hand a lot, but his line looks so full of crap to me. Actually, it was the nuts with the nuts redraw. So we're gonna top up early here. Yeah, I mean, I guess when he when he min check raises twice, I guess that's probably a good spot to fold. Not sure about checking behind that turn though. I don't love it. I think he was just a little too short. It makes our decisions a little bit murky in terms of what's actually right. Here, kind of as a semi-bluff, semi-value, I'm going to bet there are worse hands that can continue, but usually when he calls, we're behind. It's actually a pretty... I think I'm actually just going to check behind here. Queen 10 gets there, some weird King X floats get there, and I don't think I'm getting him to fold a jack realistically unless I put in a third barrel on the river, so and I think that's a little bit optimistic anyway at this point. And I think at this point we can probably just safely fold. I think most of his range is now Jack X, King X, and straights. Nothing to see here, folding junk hands. More junk hands. I will occasionally 3-table zone, but again, it's not that ideal because then I pretty much have to mix 3 limits because typically only the 6 max tables will run for a given limit, which is not ideal. This guy's deep, so I actually expect to get played back at more by people who are deep. I'm not sure if that's a correct assumption or not. I haven't like, you know, looked at any stats on that. It's not really worth it, I don't think, but I just have a feeling that people who tend to have big stacks in this game are those who are getting into the 3-bet pots, and that's usually going to mean they're doing the 3-betting themselves, so. But who knows, he probably doubled up, I don't know, aces versus kings or something. Okay, that's an easy fold. Wow, 2 guys pretty deep here. Da-da-da. Yeah, so I guess, I don't know, babble about my rise up the Bovada ranks for now. This guy's too short, I think, for this to be an open. That's a value bet. So I started out with $150 deposit on Bovada, and I was playing 5-L. I mixed 10-L very early, with about 17, 18 buy-ins, and I did, you know, so-so, and then I kind of started doing more consistently well once I got used to the anonymous format. This was before Zone was actually a thing, so I was for the most part 4-tabling. We catch the nut flush draw here, so this is a very standard C-bet. I can double barrel a decent number of cards as well. That's a pretty decent one to double barrel, especially if he's holding almost something like ace high here, which you see a surprising amount. That's actually not a card I'm in love with. I don't think we beat anything now. I'm not sure he folds anything. What does he fold? He might fold Jack X, but most of his Jack X is a straighter 2-pair now, so I think we can check behind. Oh, okay, he just casually floats with King High and turns in reverse 2-pair. In position, I think I'm going to flat here. I just think people aren't 3-betting all that much. Certainly not as much as we want them to be when we have queens. And you know, this is a little bit tight, but on a monotone board where we don't even have the suit and it's ace high, I think we can just, yeah, we can just fold here. I mean, he's going to have some ace X that he's bluffing with. He's going to have some random junk he has pre-flop, but I just don't like getting into a call down spot, especially if the diamond peels off and we're just like totally lost on what to do. So I think it's a little nitty, but a fold. So I was playing 5 and 10-L regular tables, and I didn't have to play that many hands to move up. I started mixing in 25 very quickly. Okay. Kind of mandatory c-bet here. Pretty decent board in terms of like what he's probably going to be flatting. He's not going to hit this board that hard that often, but when he raises like this, I think there's not that much merit in trying something fancy like 3-betting. Yeah, so I started mixing in 25-L very, very early. I decided right off the bat that I was going to use pretty aggro bankroll management. Excuse me. And, you know, it went so-so for quite a while. I was kind of floating up and down around the break-even line. I would go a couple buy-ins up, 8 buy-ins down, 8 buy-ins up, 10 buy-ins down, 10 buy-ins up, 5 buy-ins down, etc. So I was really straddling the break-even line for probably about 7,000 or 8,000 hands, and then I had a couple just like period where I went +4 buy-ins, like +3 or 4 buy-ins every session, 2 sessions a day for like 2.5 days. So that was good. I ran very hot when I started mixing in 50-L as well. I won like 3 buy-ins and just a few hundred hands. So I was rolled at that point, and then kind of stagnated. So I was sort of hovering for a little while, and then I kind of hit my stride. Terrible, but I was just I feel very comfortable in the 25 games right now, and starting to feel more comfortable in the 15-0 games as well. So definitely feel I'm profitable in the 25 games for sure. 50-0, I'm pretty sure, but I don't really have anything close to a sample in either, to be fair. The thing about 50-0 is that I see the main differences between it and 25-0 just being people are, when they're bluffing, they're taking somewhat more credible lines, which means that we can actually bluff catch more. That's kind of the biggest adjustment I would say is you can bluff catch a fair deal more, and you can actually incorporate bluff catching lines. Now, I don't usually love using the check fold now option in the big blind. Ah, man, okay, there's like no spots. I'm going to start opening up a little bit here. Yeah, I don't usually like check folding the big blind just because, you know, I think that we can play it profitably post flop, and so there's no reason to not play the hand if it gets limped around to us or what have you. Pretty clear 3-bet against a short stack here. Man, we're just getting min raise all over the place. I don't really see what he likes raising here, aside from draws. So at the risk of looking like a complete idiot, I'm gonna re-raise, which gives us, what do we have, 9, 12 outs. So I like jamming actually. This is a pretty bad board to see bet. So he basically snap calls. So we're doing quite well now. Down a quick 9.5. Fairly large. I'm shocked he check raises on such a dry board. I mean, that's, well, plus picking up a crap ton of equity. But if you're going to check raise and then just flat the 3-bet, I mean, it seems weird for him to not lead the turn. Actually, my jam is actually pretty bad because I just realized once he does call the 3-bet, he can't really have air ever, and he's probably not flatting a gut shot there either. And I think trying to get him to fold like ace-king there is pretty unrealistic as well. So, alright, I fucked up. Okay, we're just gonna bink the nuts when no one's ever gonna call us, but that's fine. Still have to bet. Flush draw, Jack X. Those are never ever folding, but no one's ever gonna have that. Oof. Not sure if I meant to 3-bet that big. I'll 3-bet here as well. Cut off open. Seems like a pretty good spot. We have blocker. Oh, he's going to call. We get top pair, which isn't bad. Ace, king, and jack are not great cards for us, but I think I'm still going to bet here because I'm not in love with those cards. I think he's going to flat something like jacks here. He's going to flat ace, king probably. I see almost no merit to betting now. He might even flat something like ace jack on the flop, and so we're just gonna try to get the showdown against his pocket 9s and 8s here, and his like jack 10, ace 10. Oh man, I don't think he's capable of value betting a 10 here. Probably not a queen either. Definitely a king, but he should have air too. Okay. So far I've made like 0 correct decisions on this table, so that's good. Apparently shouldn't be moving up. See, this is what happens. I play some hands, lose some pots, and suddenly I'm not feeling that great, and then I don't even want to open a suited queen on small blind. This is kind of a weird spot against the short stack. If he jams, I mean, that's a pretty bad card. If he jams, I can fold, I think. And I'm going to check behind. I don't think we get value from much. Actually, I might have gotten value from that, but a little gun shy now. The lesson here, I think, is I need to bluff a little bit less right now. Late on a Saturday night. Value bet a little bit wider. And you know I'm going to take the blinds here with the kings. At least give me a spot. Like, a spot's fine. I'll take a tricky spot, but at least let me go post flop here. Come on, buddy. Jeez. Standard open. Shorty calls. This is a very dry board. So we're basically just flatting if he raises a reasonable amount, and obviously opening if he folds. If someone were to 3-bet here, I think I would probably just pitch it in because people aren't 3-betting nearly as wide as they should be against a cutoff open. In terms of bluffs, they're definitely not really 3-betting that many bluffs at all. A lead of this size is almost never air in a multi-way pot. I think it's like a flush draw minimum, more likely a queen. So I'm just going to give it up. I don't really have too much hope for improving my hand, and I think it's unlikely we get him to fold much there. Gonna ISO this. Nope, meant to make it 125. Probably gonna go 3-way now, but that's okay. We know how to deal with that. Very nice flop for us. I don't think too many people are limping something like king queen, so I expect to be ahead very close to 100% here. I didn't want to be so far ahead that nobody calls, but you know, we had top pair, so we're not getting action. I think these guys are a little short for me to be opening this in the cutoff, so I'll just fold that. Meaning, even if it folded around to me, I would not have opened it. That's why I was able to just click fold right there. I think this is a good spot to go for a 3-bet in position. And we're just going to casually get cold called and then called again. Pretty easy 3-bet here. Well, they both... See, I would typically just snap 3-bet, or excuse me, snap c-bet this. I'm not sure if that's correct or not, 3-way. So easy for someone to have a king. But it's also very easy for them to just have air. I think he's got king, queen, ace, king, maybe king, jack. He's also got queens, jacks, and tens here. Wow, okay. So wow, the pot's too big. I think I can just give up, actually. And now if he happened to have flush draws there, he just got there too. I'm going to try to keep it on the smaller side here so I'm not betting enormous with the kings. Wow, that hurts. That hurts a lot. I'm just getting owned tonight. Probably won't even post this now. It's just ridiculous. Alright, this is a little bit tricky at this point. I don't expect him to fold a queen here, like any queen, but at this point we're starting to narrow his range a little bit dangerously. But the board's so safe. I mean, he's never folding ace queen. He's never folding king queen. He's probably gonna have a really hard time getting away from queen jack. So we're just gonna jam it. And if he has queen 10 suited, then so be it. If he flops a set against us, then so be it. Man, this is going about as bad as a session can possibly go. This guy 3 bets for 20% of his side stack, so we can just fold. This is what I get for trying to get some hands in, of course. I think I get to take the pot down a lot here when I just lead, and obviously we have a lot of outs. And we're, my God, really? Just gonna give me every bad spot, huh? Wow. I'd also like to point out we were deep on this table, so that was really fun. Real, like, Jesus. I might just close this session soon. This is absurd. People do not 3-bet. Like, I'm not being a baby here. This is, people have hands. So this is pretty ridiculous. ISOing here for value. This is a pretty terrible board for us because we can't rep anything. And he's never going to fold anything ever. So I think I'm down like 3 buy-ins on this table and like a buy-in on this table. No, 2.5. At least. So, yay. Oops. I'm gonna bump it up here. Probably gonna get limp re-raised. No, if he snap calls and we get a fairly terrible flop. I'm still a c-bet though. He still has to fold pretty much every pocket pair here. A lot of ace-x has to fold as well. Let's see a value hand. Oh wait, we had kings. Never mind. Shouldn't complain. We had kings. We got 3 streets of value. Granted, it wasn't for us, but you know, let's not be picky here. I'm gonna 3-bet. No. Okay. Alright, I think we get at least 1 street from pretty much queen X and worse ace X and flush draws, so. And wow, really? See, the thing here is that he can actually have flush draws at this point, so. I like calling. I'm not going to make the mistake of betting here, though. If you have a 5, I'm going to puke. His line looks so full of shit, but he can have 5 of clubs here, which grosses me out. Are you serious? You're going to check, like, this is the bottom of my range. You got me to call with the bottom of my range. And we chopped. You're an idiot. Okay. We're going to hopefully win a hand sometime in the near future. Just a hand. You know, it doesn't need to be a big one. Chopping doesn't count, by the way. At the risk of this going terribly again, I'm going to 3-bet. We'll catch a fairly miraculous flop in terms of how we've been going so far. So pretty standard c-bet. This is our money card right here because he has plenty of ace-x. He has a lot of pocket pairs, so that's still an undercard. And we are obviously do have a gut shot, and I have to call. Oh wow, he had the nut straight. Pretty gross card for him on there, but I'm still not really sure what he's doing on the flop, frankly. This is a good barrel card for us, though. At this point, we might have to triple barrel. Wow, we get there. Oh, he's tanking. What does he have? I don't think he had. Wow. The thing is, the only straights that beat us are 10-6, which I never ever for a second put him on, and Jack-10, and I don't think he's calling 2 streets with Jack-10. So I'm going to make a value raise here against hands like 2-pair that he has. That aren't going to fold. Sets as well, although that's too bad. Maybe if I min raise he calls, but it's hard for me to see him folding 2-pair there ever. So that might have just been a last-ditch effort to steal the pot with a weak hand. I can't really profitably set mine in this spot, so I'm going to 3-bet instead. Wow. Because if he is flatting with something goofy like 9-8 suited, he has to fold, but obviously when he calls, we're never ever ahead. And wow, okay. Yeah, sure. That's fine. Just so let me get that board. But I still think it's profitable to do. People are snap folding to c-bets in 3-bet pots, so 3-betting a lot of stuff is not really that terrible. Especially because they obviously don't know that you're 3-betting with small pocket pairs. Not digging the 3-way here. If he bets, I might check raise. Just because he is under the gun, so he does rep some over pairs, but he can't really have too much here. When he bets that size, I actually give him a little bit more credit for having something that doesn't want to fold. This I should be able to flat, especially if someone else calls, but I think, yeah, we're totally fine here. Don't think I'm going to call here, I mean, it is a paired board, he doesn't rip that much when he bets. He has a lot of missed stuff, but we're going to potentially face another bet, and he might. Standard raise of the suited ace in middle position. Let's just go 4-way. Oh no, we're going to get 3-bet for the umpteenth time. Alright, give me some value hands again. I want to bet for value. I like betting for value. Alright, I'm going to start clicking check fold so you can actually get to some hands here. Maybe. Come on, it's zone. It's supposed to be fast. Let's go. I've tightened up my under the gun range to ace-10 offsuit plus and then any suited ace, so expect to see me folding under the gun more than usual. This we can 3-bet. This we can flat. And we brick. And we brick. But we expect to brick a lot here, and we expect to take it down a ton. Wow. He bets half pot, which looks really bluff heavy to me on this board. So in position, I'm going to flat and try to get to a cheap showdown here. If he barrels, I can probably just fold. When he checks, it tells me I'm either ahead or he's got like pocket sevens, and I'm not going to try to get him to fold pocket sevens. So we win a nice little pot here. It's not consistent for every player, of course, but I have found some level of consistency to when people just click the half pot bet and don't, click it up at all. It's more likely to be a bluff, and if they're just like mashing the pot button, it's a little bit more likely to be value. Although I have found some spots where the fact that they've just mashed the pot button looks like they're going for max fold equity because they just don't think you have anything kind of thing. One of those weird I think that he thinks that I have whatever. Come on, bro, it's zone. It's like speed poker. It's crack poker. Come on. Hello. I actually do kind of wish that the pre-flop timer was a little bit shorter than the post-flop timer. I think that would help. That would help things along a little bit. ISO here with the suited ace. He wants to cold call our ISO, or he's just not at his computer. Another ISO here. ISO all day, every day. Get snap called here by a shorty. And he's going to lead into us for half pot, so come on. A little bit of wide open here, but we're going to catch top pair, so NBD. I think we're getting called by 10-9, 9-8, flush draws. Probably some pocket pairs as well. 5s through 8s almost certainly aren't folding for one bet. It's a little weird with this guy in here. I think I'm going to basically play it like he's not in the hand. Because I think he jams a lot here, and well, you know, when he thinks he has something decent, he's going to jam a fair bit, and we'll just end up calling. It does get a little bit tricky if he calls and he jams. I probably should have sized it so it wouldn't reopen the betting. But I did not think of that at the time. It's kind of an awkward stack size, but I think we can 3-bet here. I've found that the min button opens are usually weak. More so than not. That's a fine size. Not really too picky here. I know he's going to prove me wrong. It's a little awkward because his stack size is so small. We don't really have too much we can do post flop. And I think now we just have to fold. I think he has a lot of pocket pairs and random 5-6 offsuit or something. Yeah. He likes what he has, basically. And we're not ever going to get him to fold something he likes. Oops. Yay, we get folds. We like folds. Oops. Lagging a little bit here, sorry about that. Oh, this is such a sexy squeeze spot. You're both so short, though. You're deep enough, though. This actually might be okay. Might not be ideal, because when they flat, we hate life. Gonna ISO here, I think. Well, we get a lot of folds from people behind normally. Instead, we're gonna go super multi-way here. With a gut shot and a backdoor flush draw and 2 people checking to me, I think it's okay to c-bet here. We get a lot more credit multi-way because, let's be serious, who is going to c-bet air into 3 people? It's not a bad card for us equity-wise, but I'm not sure it's that great for us to bet on. And we catch our money card, which is pretty sweet. Something stupid like 2 pair. Probably not. But I'm going to try anyway. If he has ace-10, I'm going to cry. Oh, he did call with worse. Sweet. Solid value raise. See, that's why I kind of default to doing that sort of weird overbet jam, is because you never know if he's going to call with something really stupid. Like where he's just never has. Let's try and load here. Bringing it up. So he did have 2 pair, which was exactly what I was trying to get paid off by. I would ISO, but he's way too short, so I'm just going to pitch that in, pitch this in. So there you go. Bovada. Hooray! So we're even on this table. Not so even on this table. Not down too much, though. Whee! Whee! Action. Give me your action. Against a shorty who's just min raised, I'm just gonna 3-bet here. I think making it the size is actually pretty good too. And here as well, I'm going to 3-bet because I think it's pretty criminal not to when he min raises. Not a great flop for us. I actually kind of like checking back folds from here. Oh man, so you're starting to get into like weird 200 big blinds deep realm. Like, does he 4-bet queens? I'm not really sure. I'm not gonna 5-bet. I probably should have 5-bet, but I'm gonna go for a delayed c-bet here when he checks twice. Gross thing about a board like this is that jacks and tens are doing absurdly well now, but I'm still not snap folding or anything like that. Oh, he chickened out. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. The only good thing about this card is that he's going to chicken out with anything that's not a jack, I think. Like, I think ace-king is really worried about us having a jack here. So we're just good. Oh my god. Alright, well, I guess we didn't really lose 200 big blinds deep. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Alright, I'm pretty okay with how I played that. I don't think 5-betting is necessarily a mistake there, but out of position, 5-betting, if he flats, we hate life, because we don't know what to do on like any board. Well, okay, we know what to do. We try to get it in, but we know that the only hand that we're getting paid by is basically pocket queens. And I think that if he 6-bets to anything, like a reasonable amount, if he jams, or even if he just makes a standard smaller 6-bet when you're deep, like I don't want to fold kings pre-flop, but start to get into the realm of like, is he really dumb enough to get in 200 big blinds with pocket jacks here? Probably not. I'm not saying that no player does on Bovada, because again, it's Bovada. I'm sure there are plenty of players who do, but I definitely don't see it as the like generic thing for someone to get it in 200 bigs deep. I think I can ISO here. Don't mind taking down the pot. Don't mind getting heads up. Don't even really mind going multi-way. Certainly don't mind flopping top pair. So we're going to bet a little bit on the bigger side. He's limp called, so we're going to assume he's, pretty passive, pretty bad. He's going to call with a lot here. And now I'm planning on jamming rivers. Probably. Actually, not going to jam. What I am going to do, 7-8 gets there, but it's the only hand that gets there. I'm going to do this kind of weird tiny bet where he might actually call me with like a 9 where he would have folded. But he also might just like spaz jam a missed heart draw, which hopefully he's doing, or a missed gut shot. That play is something that I only started using fairly recently, so I've had mixed results. I think the best spots are definitely where like exactly what happened right there, where he's very likely to have a missed draw, and so giving him that kind of desperation chance at winning the pot is, he's going to pounce on it. We don't really rep much when we bet 50 cents on the river out of position. If anything, we rep like a very weak pair type hand where we're maybe going for a tiny bit of value, but more likely we're just trying not to check fold. We're trying to like bet a really small amount, kind of as a blocker. But it's almost always perceived as weakness, I would say. So it works pretty nicely. Got us paid an extra $9 there. Where obviously he's never calling off with like queen high there. in position, I'm gonna 3-bet this. Actually, I'd probably 3-bet out of position as well. It's more a question of, because he's deep, I don't always auto 3-bet ace-king offsuit. But we take it down, so it doesn't matter. Well, okay, it still matters, but we take it down. Okay, well, I think we definitely got into some interesting spots here. This is like the ultimate snap fold here. I think we got into some interesting spots. I think I played pretty badly in a couple of them. My jam with my jam when I had a gut shot and a flush draw was just terrible because we don't get folds, and in position we can just take a free card. Anyway, here I'm gonna make what I would think is a pretty standard c-bet, even into 3 people on a wet board, just because we do have an open ender, and if the 10 comes, we have the nut straight, which is pretty sweet. That's not sweet though. 375, getting not a very good price here. We have a straight, but I can't bet. I actually think this is just okay to fold. I don't think we necessarily have implied odds to his stack, and even if we do, not all of our outs are clean. What's tricky is that if he can check raise a flush draw there, if he can check raise a flush draw, I think the right play when we know he has a flush draw is to just get it in, because we have a ton of outs against a bare flush draw. We can hit a pair, we can hit a straight, and potentially a better flush. If he hits a flush, we might have a redraw. I don't think that's exactly something we should be banking on, but it is a small consideration. Planning on 3-betting if he opens, by the way. We haven't really been getting any folds in those situations. I don't think this is a very good board to c-bet, by the way. That's an even worse card. That's an even worse card. So if he has pocket sixes, we're ahead, and that's about it. Oh, man. Bummer. Arguably, once he checks the turn, I could bet the turn and start trying to rep a king, but I think it's just too easy for him to have a king. Don't really want to get into a weird spot. Kind of interesting board. I don't get value from much really, except for like some ace highs and flush draws, but it's pretty mandatory bet with a pair, a gut shot, and a backdoor flush draw. He's gonna have to fold so often that it's gonna be plus EV anyway. And our equity in the pot doesn't hurt either. We had trip outs too. I don't know if you noticed that, but I haven't started doing anything crazy things in these videos, but I'll either make a compilation video of times where I've done this, or I'll just make a video where I try to do this. But because it's zone, and because nobody knows who you are, and like even from hand to hand, you can get away with some very unbalanced plays. Like, actually, you know what? Let's try one here. He's deep enough stacked. I think this is fine. So he's gonna almost. This is a very dry board, low. He's gonna c-bet probably close to 100% of his range here. And he's in the cutoff, so a lot of, well, he pots it, so I'm not excited about this. But for science, I'm gonna check raise here. If he pots it and has an overpair here, I'm gonna cry when he jams. I did call it though with the yeah, okay. So I probably shouldn't have done that when he pots it, but what normally happens here is they c-bet we raise and they cry fold. But instead I just threw away $5. With this bet sizing, I actually think we're behind to a better pocket pair for a bit. But we're just gonna bink the nuts, so that's fine. Oh wow. Oh wow. I think it's a call because I think this guy's in hard. Why would you do that? If he checks, we can bet for value though. Small though. Try to get called by Jack X, pocket queens. Alright, that was a nice hand. See, that's a spot where I think a lot of people get scared and just check behind when there's plenty of value to be had. I'm gonna check what he had. This is a bit odd. The board's fairly dry. So actually, can I? You know what? I can check here. It's so dry. The only thing we're getting called by is a queen or like 8-9 suited, 6-7 suited. What? All right. Well, we're not really getting paid by anything here, but I still think we have to bet. I think we at least rep a little bit less strong hands when we do this, but we're still. I really hope you have a 7. Okay. Here I'm gonna squeeze. Wow. It's a little bit gross because you can't have a queen, right? Not the best board in the world, but still a pretty mandatory bet here with an overpair. There's just so many bad turn cards. We don't mind taking down the 5. If he jams, I'm probably calling because it's so wet. 8-9, he probably jams. Flush draws, he's jamming. Unfortunately, he's jamming any 7, of course, but we can't fold getting 4-1. Oh no, he's just what? He's just gonna flat and then flat the 3-bet with queens. That's cool. No, yeah, that's great. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with my play. Like I said, I mean, the 3-bet is, it's kind of whatever. I mean, I could go either way on the 3-bet. I'm flatting there sometimes. Against those stack sizes, I don't mind just 3-betting and taking a lot of folds, though. But obviously, once we hit that board and it's so wet, but we're still ahead of most of his range, we still just have to get it in against that stack size. This is one of the not worst spores to see bet, so I'm gonna check. Check, give up. That hand where I had a set, by the way, the guy had ace jack, so again, that's basically what I was trying to get paid by, so that worked out pretty well. Standard semi-bluff here. Oh my god, how much can I get check raised in a session? That's the kind of board where if I had a king, I would actually be very strongly considering calling down, taking a call down line. Because being in position rocks. Jeez Louise. Actually, can I call? I need to win like $20 when I do win. Yeah, I can win. I can call. I can think. Here I'm going to make a pretty standard c-bet. You can't really have too much. When he pots it, I don't think he's ever folding, but I can't make it that huge. I want to really... And here I can just fold. I mean, he doesn't rep all that much, but he does have some value hands here. Oh my god, come on. How do you just pot fold it? How do you pot fold it? Jeez, can't even hit sets right. A little bit gross with the shorty here, but I still don't think this is an open. This is pretty weird. The average pot size in the 15-0 game is really high. See, it's like $2.50 on 25-0, but it's like $13 at 15-0. Not really sure why that's happening. Such a dry board. I expect c-bets almost 100%. So we're gonna call. I think I can call one more and be pretty okay. If he's triple barreling, I probably just have to fold though. But I look like I have a king a ton here, so I think he's only really triple barreling like ace, king, and aces. What? Sick double barrel with fives. He's probably check calling too. Someone who double barrels fives really likes check calling there, I think. The river, that is. Alright, maybe try to get into a couple more spots and then call it a night. It's pretty late here. I won't say how late. Actually, you probably saw it on the lobby when I kept dragging it up, but c'est la vie. There we go. Alright, we'll say this one's the last one here. Assuming we get the post flop. Wow, that's pretty shitty. He's just gonna casually pot it, so. Alright, I guess we'll play through our last one here. Last hand. Yeah, we can snap from that. So this has been Scourrge, 25-0 zone, 50-0 zone, 2-tabling video. I hope this was helpful or enjoyable or both. Ideally both, but I understand I'm not that funny and I'm not that good at poker, so you know, if you can get a little bit of one, I'm pretty happy. Let me know what you thought. You know, berate my play. I do know that I made a couple pretty bad ones this video, but I think posting it's probably good for everyone. Let me know what you thought about how the video went in terms of what I talked about, what you'd like to hear more of, and basically anything. So thanks for watching, guys, and this is Scourge signing off.